Bismillah, brother Abdul-Waahid.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. I give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God of Lord, King of Kings, the giver of life, the provider of sustenance, the guide towards Al-Islam, the guide in all other things. I give thanks to him for making us Muslims, for making our hearts continue to yearn and get closer to him. And I bear witness that he is the only worthy of worship. He's the only one we can call on to for help. And bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his only messenger that has been sent to us as a mercy and as a guide for us to better, practice Islam to the best of our ability. May Allah, in his infinite mercy, continue to shower his rahmah upon him, his household, and the companions, and continue to make Al-Islam easy for us to practice. And may Allah never take our soul unless he's pleased with us. So today's topic, inshallah, will be about procrastination, the thief of time. And it's a special episode I'd like to dedicate and as a form of appeal to our youngsters, even though there's barely any one of them on the platform. I can see maybe one or two, maybe some of them are hiding behind their parents, login details maybe, but perhaps, inshallah, our parents or our aunties and uncles can share that with them. It would also touch on, on our parents as well, but it would mainly be an appeal towards our youngsters. As it's been announced already that we've dedicated to this as a call to a dear brother we lost recently, earlier this week. Some of us were at the janazah, some of our fathers and our mothers were there, some of our youngsters were there as well, and the brother was known to some of us here on the, in AR-RIDDOH. This is, some might be wondering, well, we know about that is inevitable. Yeah, it is, but it seems that the youngsters were procrastinating in a lot of things. We've not prepared nothing for our tomorrow. Tomorrow in the sense that the hereafter, tomorrow, which will be an everlasting life, which will be an everlasting status, it will be an everlasting situation. We've not done nothing at all for it. And we keep living life like we own the life, like we own our life. We have this confidence that, I'm planning 20 years ahead. I want to do this. I want to do that. This brother was quite young, and I'm sure, he had plans for the next 10 years, perhaps even 20 years, perhaps even 30 years, plan of how he's going to retire, wants to retire early and so on, and many like that. And it's just an example. I'm sure if we were to go around the platform and ask questions, we'll find some people that would tell us that, oh, I knew someone once, a brother, a sister, maybe even a family member that was much younger and died, So it is not new. And it is not, we're doing this, it's not as a scare, we're not scaremongering. It is a fact that everybody will go through that process. And as sad as it is something that we see in the human definition, we see it as a sad thing. But to Allah, it is a blessing in many ways. And an example would be, for some of us that are familiar with the stories, there are 4 distinct stories in Surah Al-Kahf. One of the stories is when Allah told Musa to go and meet one of his creation that was knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. We know the messengers, the prophets were knowledgeable, were given some knowledge that we didn't even know, or were given some wisdom, were given the gap. But there was a particular man during that time that was even more knowledgeable, that Allah instructed Musa to go and learn from. And there was 3 sorts of life lessons, should I say, that the man performed. And Musa was very impatient. And he warned him that you will not be, and he said, no, don't worry, until he performed the last one. That he said, this is the end of our journey because you have told to be patient now. But to cut the story short, one of the things, the person, the name of that person is Khidri, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Khidri, it's Ratul Kaf. And one of the things the man did, he took a child of, parents were still alive, and he took the child and killed the child. And Musa was like, how can you kill a human soul? How can you even do that? But after all the three things that he did, he explained the wisdom behind it. He said, this son, it will get to a certain state that the parents will take him to the point they will forget about Allah. It will be as if they are worshiping him. It will be as if their life is dependent on this child. So it took him away from them with the hope and prayer that Allah will replace the child with a more pious child. We replace that with a more pious child. And this is the kind of things that we see. It is a life lesson. It is something that we see it as a bad thing, but in that story, it was a blessing that would not have been known to the parents. And Allah does not have, we cannot take Allah in question that he has to reveal everything. He even said in another place in the Quran that if he was to reveal to us what is hidden, we will be in sujood throughout for the rest of our life. We will be in azikar for the rest of our life. Like we'll open our mouth, we'll never be able to close it for the kind of calamity, for the kind of dangers that he has warded from us. Sometimes when you ask for something and it doesn't give to you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't listen to prayer. So it doesn't mean that you don't deserve it. It's just the fact that there are other far more priorities coming your way in a negative sense that is trying to ward away from you. And we also know Qadrullah, there's destiny, which is one of the articles of faith of Iman. And he says to us that the Prophet said as well that there are people that their status is good in both, that there are people that if calamity befalls them, they will praise him, and if good befalls them as well, they will also praise him. And there is there is nothing better than that to him, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is a little bit inevitable thing. But today's lecture, I want to just focus on the procrastination that many of our youngsters, many of us youths, we are living a life of fantasy. We are living a life of we are focusing too much on the worldly life. As it's been said already that this brother is young, he had so many plans. He was married and he had 2 children. Who both of the eldest is even younger than 10. I think maybe no older than 7 or 8 or 6 or so. And many of us are like that. Some of us are parents already. Some of us are looking to get married. But for how long do you want to procrastinate for? What are you prepared for your tomorrow? What have you prepared that if Allah was to end the world? Because there are some people that on the day that they will die will be the day that they end. Because the Prophet has already explained to us that the day when the trumpet is blown, the first trumpet will be blown, every living thing will stand still. It will be like a deafening. I've never witnessed it myself, but people that have can tell you the kind of situation is when there's a bomb that has been detonated around them, or there's a gun that was shot right next to their head. Some people, the impact is so hard that some of them would even be bleeding from their head. Now think of that in an immeasurable way that that we cannot even count, of the kind of the sound the trumpet will make, that every living thing will stand still. They will be deafened by that sound alone. And then the second trumpet will be blown, and then the world will end. So some people will be alive then, but their life will be brought to an end by that trumpet. So we don't know. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. Nobody knows what they're going to do in the next 24 hours. I've known people that they've lived a life of health, no health issues, nothing. And suddenly they were diagnosed with a stage 3 myeloma cancer, which is bone cancer, and there are many, many instances like that. But for how long do we, youngsters, want to procrastinate and say, oh, tomorrow I will do this? oh, I'll wait until I'm this age and this and that. Some of us are rich enough to even have gone to Hajj or even Umrah, but we are procrastinating that, oh, I'm going to wait until I've acquired, until I've conquered the world in a sense. Perhaps some of us are probably afraid that, okay, I don't think my iman is up to that level, so why should I don't feel comfortable to go to Hajj. But my brother, my sister, let me tell you, go to that Hajj, and I can assure you, you will become back changed. If you're going for the sincere, that you have the sincerity in your heart, and you're hoping for Allah to change you, to remove that doubt from you, I can assure you will come back a better person. But we have seen people that went to Hajj and they came back the opposite. We have seen our sisters gone to Hajj and they came back, they're still letting their hair, they're still showing their hair bare to the public. They're still going out because we make the argument, oh yeah, hijab is not important, or, you know, Allah knows my heart. Well, my sister, Allah knows your heart, yes, but he also knows your end. You don't know that. You don't know how long you're going to live. You don't know. And we youngsters, we are so caught up in arguing about a significant thing. We've not even mastered our priorities, which one of the priorities, the very first thing we will be questioning about is our salah. We are failing woefully in that, and we are arguing about things that you don't have knowledge about. Many of us we criticize leaders, scholars, or this and that, or this scholar is not there. We criticize Salatu as well. I don't believe. But what have you contributed towards the propagation or towards rectifying the way Salatu is conducted? We all know, every student of knowledge or learner or a scholar knows the issue, the controversy, the different opinion around sitting down and doing as a cow in unison and so on. But what are you doing? You're sitting there criticizing in your own home, sitting on your TV or on your couch, just watching TV and criticizing, but you've not done nothing to it. You're not even active in the Islamic community. So you don't have the audacity to come out and be criticizing. Well, if you have the confidence to criticize, then you must be doing something to contribute towards the propagation of Islam, towards the propagation of the next generation, even if you don't care about your own Islam or your own generation's Islam. At least you're doing something towards that. And this is the issue, that if you are afraid to go. And if you go with sincerity, many that I mentioned the opposite are those that went to Hajj only for them to go and get the silver teeth. They didn't go with the sincerity, because if they had the sincerity in them, they will come back a changed person. The hijab you found difficult to wear, you are done it like better than anybody that people have seen. You are done in such a way that people would even emulate you. But we come back and that Hajj has not had any impact in our life. It's just as if we just made a tourism. We just went to Hajj as a tourist and just came back. For how long do you want to procrastinate? For how long do you want to say, oh, it's not time yet, I'm not ready yet, I'm not this or that yet? Allah will question you. And we have amongst ourselves as well that we question our parents, or we blame it on our parents. Well, my parents didn't teach me. But my brother, when you were messing up around with girls that it is haram, that's such a relationship is haram, you were an adult, they were with you. Your parents didn't advise you to do such thing. You were mixing up with the wrong crowd of people, involving in drugs or going to club from one club to another. Today you're a hijabi sister, Monday to Saturday you're something else. Today you're in your thought, doing as a cow. The people say they are even suprema, mashallah. Some of us can even read the Quran with a beautiful boy, but it's got no impact in our life. It has no impact at all. So we blame it on our parents that they didn't teach me. But you are an adult. You are making adult decisions. You have made bad decisions that are considered to be by an adult. The moment you're getting into a relationship, you're making babies, regardless of your age, you've walked into an adult life already. So don't blame me. Yeah, our parents may have fault in one way or the other, but on the day of Qiyamah, they will answer for their actions. You will also answer for your own action. because you became an adult before you passed on. You listen to lectures that I'm doing today, for example. You've probably had a friend that they're maybe not upright Muslim, but Allah just, made this same for them to send them to you as a reminder. They said one for you, just, oh, well, come off it. Let's just go on and chill. Because sometimes we think that, oh, maybe Allah will give me like one big sign, or I will dream about. No, there are some people in this life that the reminders they will get will be through their family. Some will get the reminders through their friends. Allah will not come down, it will not come down and appear to you, or there is no more revelation. There is no more prophet. What we have that as a guide today, our scholars, and many of us, we feel shy to go to them, we feel ashamed, which is fine. But we would have had a friend amongst there will be no excuse that I didn't hear about this, I didn't know about it, because you have heard it at one point in your life. So the parents, don't blame me. Your parents did the best they could, but our generation is far worse. We are not just we're not just living in a secular sort of sense, but we are even we want to emulate the Western culture to the point that we are losing our culture. We're also losing our spirituality. We are not thinking of where we came from. We are not thinking of us as we are the people that we will make 100 excuses before we make one significant point that, oh, okay, naturally I can do this, I can work towards it. We would rather be making excuses and procrastinating. I can't do this, I can't do that. This is not me, this is not that. And it is not. Your parents, they have obligation, yes, but you're also a father now, are you not? You're also a mother now, my sister, are you not? Would you also blame your parents for the for the spirituality or for the lack of practice of Islam in your children's life? No, because yes, your parents will be held accountable, but you will be held accountable for your own family, my brother. You'll be held accountable for your wife and for your children. You will not. Your parents will do, but as an adult, you will have the opportunity. And we live in a country that is a Christian country, but it's not. I mean, there's a survey. There was a census that is conducted every 10 years. And the last one was taken 2021, but the results was published some few months ago this year. And the survey is astonishing that the results, wallahi, is shocking. One of the good things about it is that it revealed Islam is on the rise. This is a survey that was based in the UK. I'm not talking globally now, I'm talking UK. Islam is on the rise in the UK. While this Christianity, compared to the 10 years ago, that the last one that was taken in 2011, Christianity is decreasing. In fact, people that are confused in terms of, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know, I don't believe in religion, I'm an atheist, is on the rise, while Christianity has decreased. And that's the word of Allah. Allah has already says that this religion has been perfected, like it says to us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 3. I believe that He has perfected the deen for us. You cannot take away from it, you cannot add to it. You cannot bring your secularism into it and be like, oh, this is archaic, this is old style. I have to be able to dress the way I am, the way I want to. Nobody can tell me, at least I'm wearing a cap, it's fine. Or at least I'm still dressing this manner. Oh, at least I'm still, you know, I don't steal, I don't do drugs, I do charity, and so on. That is a secular thinking. That is a Western culture thinking. Islam has got nothing to do with regardless of how intelligent. We have seen people from history, intelligent people during the time of our Prophet Muhammad, and they were perished that they were nothing, because it's not wisdom. Allah has decreed this for us. Allah has said this is what you do. It does not matter who you are. You could attain the old degree. You could become the professor in many fields. It would not give you the wisdom or even the audacity to say, oh, this is how it has to be done. That was the old way. Like some of us say, in terms of the judgment against somebody that steals or against someone that commits fornication, the law is the law. The Quran conforms to every generation, because Allah is the all-knowing. He knows the past, He knows today, and He knows the tomorrow. And He's the one that gave us that Al-Quran. And it will be like almost like going against him, or thinking ourselves to be more wise than him, to say, oh, well, the Quran only applies, or some certain messages in the Quran does not apply in today's world. No, it does. It is just that, yes, okay, the car wasn't driven back in the time of our Prophet. That would we then say car, as there is no there is no Islamic jurisprudence on driving or on car or this and that? No, it's just that that's why we have our scholars who are there as a guide. But my brother and sister, remember that Islam has come to stay. Islam is on the rise, and Islam is our religion. I have also met brothers and sisters that will say, I don't believe in religion. Religious people are the most judgmental. You're probably right, but you cannot mix the two. There is Islam and there are Muslims. Muslims are human beings with emotions, with two minds, with their intellect. And this is the difference between us and animals. Animals will not account for nothing because Allah did not give them that intellect. And this is where human beings have got their fair share of trouble. It is because of our intellect that we feel we are wise, that will be questioned about on the day of Qiyamah. So, my brother and sister, Islam is, the Muslims are there. They have their, but you cannot judge Islam. You cannot say you don't believe in religion. And you cannot separate life and Islam. Islam is what guides us. Look, go and think of anything, even giving charity, even dealing with people. The Prophet Islam, there's a book, I can't remember the name now, of that documents how the Prophet Islam dealt with different people, with women, with men, with children, with his neighbors. And that is, again, some people will think, oh, well, I want to believe that you are good, not because of religion, but you cannot separate it, because religion, Islam, is our manual. It is our guide on how to live in this earth. You cannot separate it. It is part parcel of that. It is what tells you. It doesn't teach us just about worship. It teaches us about how to live life. And there are also some of us that say, oh, well, I don't want to be an Afa. I didn't come from an Afa. Go and look at many scholars. Some of them came from a household that wasn't even, there are no scholars. There has never been a scholar in that household. Or their parents were not even that much of an upright Muslim. But they became an adult. They did their own soul searching, and they found Islam, the true Islam. The true Islam that is according to the Sunnah and the Quran, and they became a scholar. And you forget that you can say, oh, that I don't want to become a scholar, I don't want to become this and that. But there are two legal aspects when it comes to our actions and obligation. You have Fard Ain and Fard Kifaya. Fard Ain means that an individual obligation. Praying Salah, it is nothing to do you don't want to become a scholar or that. It is an obligation that the first thing you'll be questioned about, that you have to learn. How can you pray and you don't know? When you're praying, you make a mistake, you don't know. When you fast, you don't know. Do you continue to pray or you don't? When you pray 4 or 3, you don't know. What you recite, you don't know. You're basically cursing because you don't understand the Arabic language. And if you don't pronounce the letters properly, you're sometimes, depending on the word or what you pronounce, you may be cursing yourself without you knowing. But that at that point, it will not be that you don't know. It's the part that of your of your inaction, of your laziness, that you've not tried to find out on what you need to do, on how to perform your salah. Another thing as well, my brothers and sisters, some of us are into investment. Some of us are out there running after money, making this and that. I want to retire at the age of 40. I don't want to do like my parents did, that they're still working their retirement. But you forget that Islamic, transaction, Islam talks about it. Do you even know the relationship, the etiquette of getting into partnership with somebody, or the kind of investment? Not every investment is halal. Not every, even if the company is halal, there are some certain industries or certain products you cannot invest in. But you don't know, you're just thinking, well, at least I'm not getting an interest, it's still halal, I will just invest in it anyway. Because that is an individual obligation that you have to do. And then you have the communal obligation. Some of it will be like the janaza that we went to pray. Though janaza as well is something that even if you don't know that person and they call you to it, you have to go, because it's an individual right. This is the reason why we don't, Islam and frowns upon going, going to a Christian funeral and that, because once they are dead, we have no further obligation. We can make dua for them, for Allah to change them. We can, but once they are gone, we've got no further duty towards them. But your Muslim brother or sister, even if you don't know that person, if you have time, or you go to the mosque and they say they want to do, you should join them, because it is an individual right of that person upon the Muslim Ummah. Fard kifaya, communal obligation could also be that maybe some of their brothers and you're thinking we need this what's what I'm looking for? You need this expertise in the community. Maybe some of you might decide to go and do engineering, some might decide to go and do some religious courses. Again, you shouldn't all have to go and do the same course. Some of people can do, one person can do engineering, another can go read medicine, another can go and do religious, because one, the more people do it, yes, the better, but not that the whole of the community will now go and learn that. So my brother and sister, you say you don't want to become a scholar of this and that. No, it's got nothing to do with that. Allah says that you have to know me before you worship me. You have to know Allah. If you don't know, by knowing Allah is by you seeking knowledge, is by you worshiping him according to the Sunnah of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. But even if you don't care, you don't do nothing. Again, we're here today. There is not many of us on the platform, and we make it there. Maybe some of us have even gone and do New Year celebration and that. We're criticizing our salatu is this and that. But outside of our salatu, you don't even go to any of our Islamic gathering. We send around events. You don't go to it. You don't go to nothing. You don't watch anything. All you do, sometimes you go on share Google that, and going on Google, you have to have had some foundation, some background to know. Otherwise, you'll be misled. This is the reason why some of our parents, you will take your child to madrasa. You yourself, you don't even know what they are reading. You don't know the akida of the teacher that is teaching them. Your child will come back as a radical, and then you will start saying, oh, how did I go wrong? You do not check the akida of that school they are going to, because you yourself, you don't know it and you've not tried. Age is not a barrier to seeking knowledge. Age is not a barrier to stop procrastinating. Age is not a barrier to us learning about Allah and making sure we're doing it to the best. There's a difference if you're struggling. The Prophet has made this to that those that are learning the Quran, even if you're struggling, you're pronouncing the haraka a bit wrong and that, you will get double reward, because not only are you trying to learn, you're also struggling in the path of Allah. You're making all efforts to learn. You're putting in hours after work, early mornings, during your free time when you could be going out with your friends. You're spending that time. Allah will reward you double because of your struggling, you're striving, you're doing jihad in the path of Allah. So age is not a barrier. I once sent a video some months ago to our group of an elderly person. I think he was 60 something or 70, I can't remember, that memorized the Quran. It wasn't less than 60, I think it was 60 something, memorized the Quran over a 16-year period. But what would us youngsters say? Well, at the age of 50 or so, he's got nothing else, he's thinking about life, he's going into retirement, so obviously he has time. Again, you're making excuses, because we have seen older people of his age, who are out there still trying to go out clubbing with their friends, still try to travel out to haram countries, still try to do things that, still try to run after money. When at that age, they are meant to be thinking, you're getting closer. Imagine if Allah said that everybody would live to the age that the Prophet lived, and after that you can start to worry. We would not be serious about our deen. That is the reason why it is hidden, and the knowledge of the hour as well. The Prophet, they went to the Prophet and they asked this in the Quran as well. And Allah told them, concerning the knowledge of the hour, tell them you do not know. It is only known to Allah. It is only the wisdom of Allah. And it is a blessing, because if we were to know it, many of us would be doing nonsense until like a year or two before we know we're going to pass away. And that's not sincerity. That is not at all. My brothers and sisters, we only know to seek out our scholars, or we only know to seek out Islam when we give back. Some of our youngsters, they don't even want to involve as-salatu, or so they just be, I don't want this and that. Some of us will choose a name. We just go on Google, oh, it sounds nice, or I like that. But Arabic is far more than that. Many websites,
that you see on Google, some of them, you will see the pronunciation is even, the way they've written it is wrong. Are you that don't even know how to read Arabic script? How would you even understand? You will start writing your child's name in a way that it does not even make sense, or it gives you a negative meaning. I remember once a teacher was saying to me, was narrating a story that the woman, I think it was the grandmother, whose child gave birth to twins, and they went into the Quran, they saw a name, which I can't remember the meaning of that word, but they saw it and it was beautiful. And then they saw another similar word, but that word is the negative, which is more like a curse. And the teacher was saying that because they like to do that, it resonates, it sounds the same. But if they are not went to that teacher, like many of us youngsters do, that we just, we just call, sometimes we call a random person to come and do the akiko, or come and give a child the name. And we don't even, sometimes we leave it till last minute. And the scholar that is there to do it is lost for words, like, the kind of names that you're bringing. Many of us, we want to leave our secular life, but we still want to attach to Islam. And we're looking for a name that is Islamic, but it sounds English. But remember, you may be British, yes, but if UK decides tomorrow to say, well, all Africans or Caribbean, go back to your country, there's nothing you'll be able to do. You can go to court and human rights and whatever. Yeah, you can do all that. But at the end of the day, it is their own country. They gave, like Arab countries, for example, you can give birth to your child, then your child will never become a citizen. That is their law. The policy that has been in existence for centuries. You will never, you can work there, you can live there maybe, but you don't get this, they just don't. So UK can decide the same tomorrow. You want a name that sounds English, you're not looking for a name that will give your child that kind of blessing, that the name that will make your child to act like that person, like, or maybe you name him or her after a famous person or so. But all we are doing is we are running after celebrities. I want to name my child after Ronaldo. I want to name my child after Messi. And another problem we have, my brothers and sisters, if you don't care about yourself, remember, like I said, you will be judged upon your children. And as we are going forward in generation, is becoming much worse. If you don't know anything, how do you expect your child to know about their religion? LGBT is now a lesson they are teaching in our schools in the UK. How would you be able to defend them when your child comes up with a question and you don't know nothing? And you don't even know if you will live long enough. We have brothers and sisters that they will say, go and get married, or no, I'm not ready, And I had somebody say to me once, so, don't listen to your parents, just buy a house first, just do this and that. But how do you know you will live long enough to live in that house? You may buy the house, yes, but you may not even live in it. This is not a curse, and I'm not here to scare anyone, but it is a fact of life. You can run after life. We cannot hold life. We cannot hold time either. We need to be able to have a good time management where we're balancing our spirituality with the worldly life. Yes, Islam wants us to be the best. Islam does not say you should not go and study at the university, or you should not go for a job and be the best in that field. No, Islam even wants us to go for that, to the best as we can, but don't sacrifice your hereafter for a little gain. For something that even if you live 5,000 years, it will come to an end one day. It will come to an end. And you may be the professor of this today. Tomorrow, someone else will come over and take over. Look at the footballers. Many of our youth here, we are into football and this and that. Sundays, we watch football. We don't come to a salatu because we're watching football. Look at the generation of the greats. Pele died recently. And, with time, people will just be referring to him occasionally, oh, it was this, it was that. It will be forgotten. He was arguably known as the greatest player, but there are new generation coming forward who will probably take that title away from him. Surely, slowly but surely. And there are other people that have probably lived before Pele, that because there was no record then, they could not be accounted for, even though they were greater than Pele in his prime. And this is the cycle of life. You run after the insignificant, sacrificing the significant, and you may end up losing both. You may end up losing in the world as well as the hereafter. But we should not care so much about the world. We should care about hereafter, because hereafter will be everlasting. And once you're gone, there will be nothing. Your family may pray for you, and that may alleviate some hardship in the graveyard. But on the day of Qiyam, everybody will be for themselves. There will be no excuse. My parents didn't teach me. They may not. Yeah, leave Allah and them alone. You do the best you can for the sake of yourself and your children and your family. There is no excuse. This brother, may Allah forgive him and be with his family. He had plans like we are procrastinating and saying, I'm going to do this at this time, I'm going to do this and that. You should worry about right now. You should worry. And as a Muslim, you should practice Islam every day as if you will not reach tomorrow. And the Prophet said to us that we should live in the morning like as if we will not reach the evening, and we should live in the evening like we will not reach the morning, because you never know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you go to the gym 24/7, like some of us live practically in the gym anyway. It doesn't matter if you're having a regular checkup. It doesn't matter whatever you do. What is going to happen will happen. The way you pass on may be sad or maybe peaceful, maybe whatever. The fact of it is that when your family are crying or are in sadness, they should not cry for you, not because they've lost you, but they should cry for you because they do not know where you will end up on the day of Qiyamah. They will not know how, like your status in the graveyard. Because some of us think that there are people that question, okay, we say there's the day of judgment. So what happened to all those that have died since the time of Prophet Adam? We do not know. That's Allah's wisdom. But we know that as a Muslim, the judgment starts from the graveyard. There is life of this world. Another life begins in your grave, and the next life begins on the day when Allah will call everybody to come to account. So it will be a lose-lose for you if you can't do it, because there are angels that will ask a question in the grave, and if you're unable to answer it, then you're done for, you're finished. And we've also been told by the Prophet that wherever is the Quran regularly, the Quran will come as an intercession. But some of us went to madrasa some of us were not even born in this country. Here we are acting like we as if our family built the UK. Some of us went to madrasa as a youngster. Some of us even nearly memorized the Quran, or at least maybe a good portion of it, and we've totally just forgotten about that. And we're making excuses. I can't read, I can't do this, I can't that. It doesn't matter how old you are. There are many schools that cater to adults as well as children, and you can search and take whichever one suits your needs. There is no excuse for not seeking knowledge. There is no excuse for not worshiping Allah. And to our parents, do not feel bad or do not feel ashamed if you feel you've done some mistakes and you feel maybe the way your children are is your fault. It is not too late. Continue to instill in them. In fact, if it has to come to it, like this certain things that maybe you do with them, cut them off of it to send a signal. Because look, it is the way I'm speaking now. It seems that I'm just speaking, but on the day of Qiyamah, you will not even be able to cry, even if you wanted to cry, because you will be so engulfed in your own issues. You will not even be able to run after a child. Oh, let me do this. As we treated this in the last Ramadan, a pregnant woman will drop her pregnancy. A child that does not even have nothing, but she will drop it because, how did I do the pregnancy? Was I taking care of myself? Was I doing this and that? She will drop her pregnancy for the sake of being judged upon that pregnancy. So my fathers and mothers, it's not too late. If you think you cannot get through to your child, start working on your grandchildren. We have seen many stories whereby the grandchild became a symbol of Islam, that alhamdulillah, the parents start to come around, and that's the dua from the grandparent. That is the effort of the grandchild, because as Islam says, you are responsible for that child until we reach the age of 40. It's not 18, it is not 16 like the UK says to you, which is what gets into the head of many of us youth, that we feel we are adults. And you are. Once you start making adult decisions, you are adult. So don't put the blame on your parents that they didn't teach you this. I once had a work Hollywood where I asked him that, why did you pray with us? And he said, oh, I never saw my parents do it. Yeah, they will be at fault and they will be judged upon that. But you are now an adult. You're working in the job that you found yourself. The university you went, you found it yourself. The course you did, you chose it. Even though your parents said or did that, you didn't listen to them. You went ahead and did what you wanted to do. You've moved out like far away from your parents. You're living by yourself. That is adulthood. Regardless if you're 18 or 30, you're making adult decisions. So there is no excuse that my parents didn't teach me and that. You will now have the opportunity, the responsibility, the obligation to go out there and do your search, to go out there and find Allah. Sometimes we learn and we have to unlearn, because many things we learn from our parents are not according to the Sunnah, and we have to unlearn it to relearn and to better practice our salah. So my fathers and mothers, grandparents, don't despair. As long as you have breathing, there is still hope and there is much more you can do. Start to teach your grandchildren, because your children they won't do it anyway, because they, the way you raise them, that's the way they are. Because we have seen parents, and it may seem like I'm directing to a particular point, but it's not. It is a reality, and I'm young, so I'm not even maybe qualified enough to talk as a parent. But it is the reality that we are seeing in our community, that me as a youth that I have seen, from other parents or from other people, conversations I've had with other youths. We raise our children. And like I said, reminders will come to you in many different ways, but we don't take heed of it because we have not sat, we don't reflect upon it. We're expecting from a big sign, from a big dream, from a big from a scholar to give us a big ayah for us to go and do, so that everything will change. No, reminders will come in different ways. It may even be your work colleague that will talk to you about it, and if it is not enough to take it up. We are saying now, my child is let my child play. This is childhood, or my child is a British, this and that. Oh, come on, child, they have to. Some of our parents, you are aware your child, when they go for their prom, you know what they are wearing out. You know how they are exposing their body, and yet you're still patting them on their head. But you don't know you're causing the problem for yourself and your child for the future. You don't know that you're destroying their future, their hereafter, bit by bit, without you knowing. And by the time we realize it, it will be too late. How many of our parents are confident that when you're gone, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spare your lives longer in good health in the path of Islam? But when you're gone, how many of you are confident that we will do as you wish as Muslims, that will make it to have for you, that will not go even totally astray? But there is nothing there to be as that thing, because sometimes we still have that shame. Even if we are wayward, we still have that little bit of shame that, oh, I respect my parents. But once you're gone, how many of them will not call party and start calling Ashwebi this, Ashwebi that? My mother was very good in the community. We must do it big. It must be large. I must go on Instagram, and people must know that yes, this is the celebration of life of the century. But you're forgetting that this person, that yes, your mother has passed away, your father has passed away, but it's a reminder for you that you don't even know. Maybe your time is even just near the corner. This is what the Prophet told us, the brothers, particularly the male, to visit the graveyard as frequently as you can, because it would remind you. It will remind you that one day you will, and inshallah, it will serve as a cognitive will, like as a will in your life, that every time you're moving on that road, it will balance your alignment. You're thinking, you're reflecting on that oh, I will come here one day. I will come here one day. What have I done today to please Allah? What have I done today to displease Him? What have I offended today? What am I owing money? Or what promises have I made? Have I done tawbah enough? But if you're not doing that, when you're busy just traveling from one place to another, Instagramming yourself for likes, for praises, and so on, and you're not seeking the pleasure of Allah, then it will be too late. So my fathers and mothers, don't despair. You still have a job to do. Grab your grandchildren now. They're still at a young age. For many of them, for many of our parents, that you still have that chance. And perhaps, if Allah wills, if your grandchild grows up to be an upright Muslim, their parents would also come around, and before their time is up. So my brothers and sisters, my youngsters, I would appeal to you that be be very focused. Don't run after the dunya, because there is nobody, people that have tried, they perished and they had nothing left. You're running after the money, somebody else will spend it when you're gone. You're running after property. How many properties can you live in? Somebody else would enjoy it. The government might even take over it. When the family cannot claim it for some reason, the government will take over and they will just put the money, use it for their own purpose. Do not be a critic, but start doing it. If there is something that you feel this is not appealing to you at that, but we don't go to even any of these events that are there to even shape you. As a lot of yes, there are maybe some issues there, which is understandable, but what are you doing to change it? So that even if it's not working for you right now, but you're contributing, you're making it that by the time your own children grow up, they will benefit from it a lot. We are hosting tomorrow, inshallah, a youth event. Maybe we might not even get more than 5-10 people, and maybe out of that will probably be a lot of our parents that will be there, maybe, who knows. So there is so many lessons out there, so many things that we're all adults. Many of us are all adults, and we've made life decisions without the influence of our parents. So there's no excuse for us to say, nobody taught me, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. There will be no excuse on that day, because Allah would ask you that you did this, you did that, you became an adult, you listen, look, they will show you the photograph. They will show you the picture of a day you sat at a gathering like this, listening to the lecture. Either maybe you were on your phone or whatever, fine, but at least one word or two or few key words would have resonated with you, and that should have changed you. But you're too busy running after the dunya, running after things that are not, or making arguments that are not even necessary. Many of us make the excuse of alcohol as well. The alcohol is nothing, no, I should enjoy my life. It's normal. Allah only says that we should not drink it to the point of that. But if you sought knowledge, if you seek the knowledge that you know about Allah, you will know there's a problem with that, with your own thing. So we are too much criticizing, but we are not doing nothing about it, you know. So I will end there and appeal to us, my brothers and sisters, that life is too short, like they say. Life is very, 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 very short. Do not focus on things that are not important. My fathers and mothers, do not focus. Some of us have raised our children to be sportsmen, and you know, some of them are traveling, some of them are doing, which is good. Again, as I said, Islam, as long as it's within the halal means, but some of them, that has taken them away from what is important. And they they focus on it too much, and they lose what is important. And they become adults, and you don't have any say, but they will just tell your father, well, leave me this and that, because you've raised them up to be like that. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us long life in good health on the path of the Sunnah and the Quran, and may Allah never take our soul unless He's pleased with us. May Allah, may our parents never cry or mourn us or mourn over us, and may we not mourn over our parents. Our parents will go at some point, but we pray to them that they live a good life, a long life, that to the point that for a long life, to have enough time to worship Allah and to Allah to be pleased with them. And we ask ourselves as well to continue to guide us on the path of the deen, to make Islam more accessible for us, to make Al-Quran our friend, to give us the opportunity and the chance to learn more about Allah, and to learn more about Islam, and to learn more about the Quran, and to dedicate our life only to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nothing less. Whatever I've said that is wrong is from me, not from Allah. May Allah forgive me, and may Allah forgive us all. And I pray for the brother that's passed on, and anyone, and all the Muslims that have passed on since the time of our Prophet Adam, may Allah forgive them all and admit them to Jannatul Firdaus, and make their questioning in their grave easy, and make it a peaceful status for them. And may we meet all again on the day of Qiyamah in Jannatul Firdaus. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.